This is probably the most low-key pod you're going to get me doing. It is 9:25 p.m. on a Friday night. I am chatting with D-Mac, my personal friends and family. This is it. It's good to see Bin Juice at Nate Dogg in here by James. This smack talk is starting, and I am about as chill as you were going to get me to tell you one thing: who to draft and when to draft them. Now, look, my opinion is like this much. You listen to me. You listen to so many of the people here and believe. You need to listen to your gut. And that's going to be the moral of this show, about where to draft with your gut. Not just not the numbers, not the ADPs, not the ranks, your gut, because that means something. We're going to talk about that strategy. I'm going to break down the must draft players in every single round. I might just get stupid at this point and go 16 rounds deep. We're going to go through all the latest ADP data. We're going to get it going on. Who do you need to dominate your mates? Who do you need to win your draft? Well, let's get to it. Let's get to the shits right after this. Now, look, this is the ADP board as it stands right now today. And this is across all the platforms. As you can see, thanks, shout out to our good friends at #basketball for this work. And this is the consensus. And still, it shows you the difference between them. Now, I'm going to switch over to that. I'm on the screen. I've got the laptop here. I've got that up here. And I've got some real data coming at you. Because the interesting thing to see is that there is no real number one apart from Jokic. But in most of the drafts that I've been in, it's also been Wemby. So we can't split these guys. But if we go down here to where it says player, and we go across this bar here, you can see that I'm highlighting it, or listen. It's very, very clear that there is 12 people per round. So who do we take in these rounds and who do we not take in these rounds? The first thing is, what do you value? What is your build? So this is where all this talk about like, oh, what draft and must round. Look, this podcast completely, let me be 100% honest with you. This could go out the window in a second to you if you have a different value of a player because you're doing a certain build. For example, if you punt blocks, Victor Wembanyama goes back down to be probably the fourth or the fifth player. Jumping him, Jokic is still number one, Shea's there, and then it's Luka. And then you get Wemby because you're punting blocks. When you're punting turnovers, a player like Trae Young, who you can see down here in some formats is going just outside on Yahoo, or basically the 12th pick if you're in a 12-team roster position, well, he jumps up into like top 5 territory, 5th, 6th at worst. So this is very, very clear. What is your strategy? What are you chasing? And that then depends on who your first pick is. So let's just wipe the first round out. Because if you were in a first round draft, who was the must draft and who was the must not draft? It's set in stone. Look here. I mean, how many drafts have you been in? How many mocks have you done? And someone's been like, oh, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice and I'm going to take Tyrese Maxey. Yeah, like I've been in 1 or 2, and I like Tyrese as potential first rounder overall, but he's generally not going there. And I've probably done about 40, 50 mock drafts at this point, at least. And I've probably seen Maxey go in the first draft twice. So the percentage of that happening to you is small. So the must drafts in this round, outside the top 3, 4 consensus, for me, I'm really loving builds with Cade Cunningham. I am loving builds with Trae Young. And I'm liking Anthony Davis a heck of a lot. He's looked fantastic in the preseason. So for me, those are my other first-round guys. Now you can see the other dudes on this list down here. After this, the consensus is Jokic, Wemby, Shea, Luka, Giannis, Ant. Look, I'm not there. He's going there, but I'm not there. Take someone else. Let him slide down drafts. Let him slide down. Just don't be that person. James Harden's here at 15, 14, 13. I see him as first round. I would be taking James Harden in my first round. So for me, the must-draft first-round player towards that tail end becomes James Harden. I see Karl Anthony Towns as probably the worst of this bet, a bit of a decreased role in New York this year, lower minutes. He's the guy that falls down the list. Otherwise, it's fine. You're fine. Giannis is fine. These guys are fine. So let's go on down here to the second round and have a look at these must-drafts. And this is where I start to say smash, smash, smash a lot more, like very, very quickly. Harden, Curry, Durant, Maxey, Mitchell, all smash, all potential first-round value guys. These are the keys for me. Şengün there, for me, he's just too high. Like, I don't get that for him. Like, I know he's looked good in the preseason. I know there's been that hype. I don't see it. He hasn't shown it. It's like, oh, but gee, like, there's no Fred VanVleet. And I'm like, there's not a Fred VanVleet. But then we're also expecting this big breakout from Amen Thompson. So, I mean, two things can be true, right? Like, Amen Thompson could be really impactful and have a absolutely heck of a good time. Or Şengün, not so much. Now, if you punt some stuff, like if you punt maybe blocks, sure. If you punt free throw percentage, he gets a huge bump. Look, I'll actually run it. There we go. Free throw percentage, that, and turnovers as well. Because are you doing that? Like, what rank does he shoot up to? He's probably like second round value at the end of the day. Like, yeah, he gets a massive bump. Like, I'm looking down here, he's like up to 20th. Like 20, but we're still putting him in the second round of this ADP data. So for me, a Şengün in the second round, I think is too much. So for me, I'm avoiding. Amen, completely fine in the second round. I think he's going to have a spectacular season. So for me, I have no problem with that. Again, two things can be true, but I do not think that two things in fantasy can be true on the same team, because now we're talking second round value, 3 Houston Rockets within the first 24 players of fantasy, if that's the case. Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, and I just bloody missed it. Şengün, there we go. Albie, big Albie. So there's 3 guys with the Rockets first round value. And it's just not the case. Like, I don't expect that to be the case. There's no other team in the NBA that could do it. And if they pull it off, all power and glory to them. After this, we've got guys like Maxey, as I said, Mitchell, love, Thompson, love. Brunson is too high in the second round. I'm seeing him drop in industry drafts into the 3rd and 4th round, and I'm more comfortable there. LeBron James, this is up to the minute data. Look, I'll even refresh it. Look, it's there, up to the minute data. LeBron James, still down here. People are still taking him, and he is going down in this list as we speak. There he is, 30th, 20th, and 21st. So people are still taking him on that stash. The only person that has seemed to have jumped him in that in the last 24 hours is Evan Mobley. And I think he is an awesome second rounder, 100%. At the end of the second round, we're looking at guys like Josh Giddey. Now, I've been taking Giddey as a perfect pair. I've been really enjoying pairing him up with Cade Cunningham and Trae Young. Really, especially with Cade, getting those like big point guards who rebound and can get some blocks and just put it on. And the assists are incredible between those two guys. That's how you can combat a Jokic kind of build. So that's what I'm really in for. So completely down with that one. James slipping in boards in industry drafts. I've seen him go into the 40s. This is not demonstrative of his end of value. If you get him at the 4th round, sure, stash, but in the second, absolutely avoid. Now, this is where we get into the murky waters in the 3rd round. Paolo Banchero, and people keep on saying this, oh, Paolo is this, Paolo is that. Paolo was very good. Paolo was a good basketball player. He took a leap last year. The injury set that back. We were all like gobsmacked by his incredibly huge triple-double game. And then the injury brakes got put on. Now, never before has Paolo Banchero been a top 3 round player. Now, if you punt turnovers, he gets a massive bump. If you punt free throw percentage, he gets a massive bump. This bloke is like the Yanni, this is the Giannis Antetokounmpo special. If you get him and you get Paolo, put his value right up there, because then Banchero all of a sudden becomes a lot more valuable. Like, punt the turnovers, punt the free throw percentage. This guy is huge. You can punt the steals a little bit. You can probably feed into it a little bit more, but this guy here is huge in this one. But with this current ADP data set, unless you are doing that build, I would avoid and be looking for other players around this zone for Paolo Banchero. Pascal's fine here. Brown is fine here. I'm actually a big fan of Scotty Barnes in this zone, LaMelo Ball, and Jalen Johnson. I think this is like, to see Jalen Johnson in ESPN, this is a thing that I want to call out. Him and Chet in the 40s in ESPN 9 category leagues is a smash. That is 4th round for a guy, like especially Jalen Johnson, who I see as a top 25 player in category leagues. So if you're seeing him, his average ADP is 47, which means he's going somewhere in the 50s and somewhere early in the 40s. The second you hit 40 and Jalen Johnson's on your board, if you're a 9 category player in ESPN, you are smashing that every single day of the week. I think there's a lot of value there. Franz, look, it's fine. Cooper Flag here is the price you'll have to pay. Let's talk about Cooper. Let's talk about Cooper Flag for a second. It's not going well with him as a point guard. Jason Kidd seems like intent on winding these guys to be playmakers. He did it with Giannis, and now he's doing it with Cooper, and now he is non-committal as of this week because it hasn't gone well about basically starting Cooper Flag at point guard. And if he's non-committal about it now in the preseason, it's probably his nice way of saying, yeah, I misread that. He's kind of good with the ball, but not as the instigator, as the floor offensive leader here. And there's been some flashes, but to put the ball in his hands is a lot of pressure for this guy to be the quote unquote power forward, just so they can roll out Lively, AD, and him. Look, drop him back as a small forward. Like, the guy is really versatile, but I don't see it here. And that actually hurts his fantasy value. Make no mistake. Point Cooper is not good for you in fantasy. The errors that he is going to create is going to really make him inefficient. He might get a few more assists here, but the Point Cooper experience, I think it could be fun. I just don't think it's fantasy friendly. So for me, that's where I'm like, yeah, I see the numbers, and I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to be there. If he falls to me in like the mid to late 40s, I'm okay. But people are getting really aggressive on him right here in ESPN, especially at 31.9, and I'm not okay with that. In the 50s, great. Jamal Murray, for me, absolute smash in the third round. In the fourth round, oh, by the way, Zion here, again, it's the same case as Paolo. Much of a muchness. Whichever one, completely fine. After this one, move into guys like Ja Morant. Look, I'm okay with Ja here, Derek here, Zubac, not okay. Dyson Daniels, I think a steal, especially in ESPN. I think for me here, Jamal Murray, and I think there's real good value here in Jamal Murray to pick him up. Jamal Murray is all around the 38s, and that's fine. Like early fourth round. So especially if you're on the turn, that's where I'm taking him. Because guys like De'Aaron Fox, I think he gets a little bit of a bump. He's really good value on Fantrax right now. A good luxury stash. His ADP there is 56. You can see him in the 40s here, so he's dropped around. I think that's fair. Miles Turner, Austin Reeves, Jaren Jack. This is where, for me, the guys at the back of the fourth round are the guys that I absolutely love. So for me, when I say you must draft these guys, in the fourth round, if Turner, Reeves, Jaren Jackson Jr., Kawhi, and Butler are there, I am taking any of those guys. But aren't you? No, I'm not. I'm not concerned about any of them. Jaren Jackson Jr. is returning. Fair. He just returned in the preseason. Kawhi Leonard, what about the suspension and his injuries and his look, he's a first-round player when he's healthy. So what's the price you pay? Do you want a really good return? Yeah, for me, it's Kawhi. Kawhi in ESPN leagues at 64 I'm taking him in the fourth round. I am being that aggressive because I'm not sure if someone else won't be as clever enough to be like in the fifth round, let me roll those dice. And then they take him from me. Because if you're thinking about the math, that's 58th, right? 12 teams, standard format. You've gone through 5 rounds. There's 60 players, right? So you're sitting there at 58 just before the round. You're like, nah, I'll let him come back to me. And then he comes into 62 and you turn back around. And you're like, yeah, 68, he's gone. But his ADP, which means he could go later. No. Just take him in the 50s. Just take Kawhi Leonard in ESPN leagues in the 50s if you get a chance. Same for Jimmy Butler. Completely fine with him there. Because the games that he might not be available, you put him in IR, you bring someone in, and then he's wrestling on the back of back-to-back. Top 30 player to finish the year. Next round right here, we are moving down into the 50s zone right here. So we're down now into the goodness. And there's some guys here who I love and some guys I don't. Now, Joel Embiid, it's fine. Like at a point, you just got to take him. If he slips to you in the 70s, you take him. We've seen that happen in some industry drafts where people are just like, buyer beware. Here, it's fine. Just know that you've got IR spots and be sure to stash him straight away. And don't double him up with other long injured players. Love Murphy here. Love Advir here. Not a fan of DeRozan. Not a fan of Allen. I'm a fan of Kobe White. Not a fan of Levine. I'm a fan of Duran here. Not a fan of Hart here. Not a fan of Jalen Green here. I'm okay with Miles Bridges. Now, because points players really gravitate towards ESPN, you can see his ADP is 59. Yahoo, which has been a little more like with the new format there, you can see that's crept up and he's 62. Fantrax still eking out some 70-ish value there. I love that. But for me, at the end here, his ADP overall is 64. At the end of the 5th round, I'm smashing Kristaps Porzingis each and every single time. For me, he quickly moves into the MVP ballot. And if you want to be the MVP of your league and really get on the action, make sure you like and subscribe and become a member of Believe in Fantasy. All the details are down below. You get access to the experts. You get question and answers. You get to, there's probably something in there I haven't responded to 100% as well. Just FYI. Like I probably haven't because I am too doing this. Like this is goodness. We're in the chat. We're helping you out the whole time. And I can tell you this right now. There are benefits galore, including rookie cards. I'm talking if you love the cards, like this is beside me, look, I'll even show you my thing. That's my Wemby rookie. That's my Wemby Gem 10 mint graded rookie card. And Believe has given away Harley, Edwards, Mobley, Maxey, LaMelo, and Cade. PSA graded rookie cards. This is golden. And all for being a member and liking and subscribing to things below. Make sure you become part of the Believe in Fantasy family. Look, let's get back to it again. I said Kristaps is my guy there. We are now into the 70s. We are down into the 6th round. Porter Jr., no. Marketing, yes. Randall, I'm okay. Miller is a smash, especially in ESPN leagues. Like this guy is on one in ESPN leagues. If you can get him there by any way, shape, or form, you do it because Brandon Miller is a heck of a lot better than me in that. So these points players, I also think he's very valuable in points leagues, just FYI. But to see him at his ADP right now at 96.8 on ESPN is almost just it's a travesty. It's an absolute bloody travesty to ESPN players. And it literally just, you can see how much of a joke it is when Yahoo's at 51 and Fantrax is at 54. And I'm in the industry pickup league right now. Shout out to Dan Titus. Shout out to DMAC, my regular co-host. I'll open up the app. I'm pretty sure that he's just gone at the beginning of this. We're in the live draft right now. It's coming back to me. I know Dan Titus just drafted Raf. Here, we are now in Brandon Miller. There you go. Josh Lloyd. There you go. Josh Lloyd took him 5th round, 2nd pick. So this is bang on where he's going, his ADP. 51, 54. That's it. ESPN, 96. Not a thing. And let's be honest, it's Josh Lloyd that's taken him right there. So 12, 14, 16, 12, 24, 36, 48. He's taking him at pick 50. He's taking him bang on the money at his expected ADP, as you would. And it's Lloyd. Like the dude's smart. Guy is like Mr. Fantasy. So shout out to him for being awesome and taking him where he should be. But on ESPN, you got to scroll down and see this dude's name. Again, snap that value up. OG Anunoby here, I think is a smash. Tyler Hero, I think is a smash and stash. Jordan Poole, I'm okay with it here. I expect good things for him this year. Mikal Bridges is a pass. Gobert, for me, a pass. Garland, I like it and a stash it. Pearl, a smash. Ingram, I'm fine with it, but I think I can get him into the next round. Right here again, Peyton Pritchard going into our 7th round. Good with Peyton Pritchard here. Good with Kessler. Good with Ayton. Good with Sarr. Okay with Nemhard. Okay with Quickly. Very good with Mark Williams. Not good with Anthony Simons. Am not good with that there. Nothing changes my mind on where I think he is, and I'm passing. I've seen RJ Barrett go in the 110s, 120s in industry drafts, so I'm okay to let him pass here. Okongwu, I'm good with. Christian Brown, I'm good with. And Asar Thompson is an absolute smash every single day of the week. Again, ESPN players, listen up. This podcast should just be like, hey, ESPN guys, how do you win your league? Yeah, by following the rankings of Yahoo and Fantrax. That's how you win it. Quickly, at 110 on ESPN, a joke. Mark Williams, 105, a joke. Asar Thompson, yeah, a joke at 104 as well. This is where we're getting that value. 8th round, not touching anyone on the Brooklyn Nets, really. That's why I said MPJ, I'd rather pass because you know what? I'd rather Cam Johnson. Nas Reed, I think it's a bit over. I've seen him going around here, but I've seen him go later on mocks. So it's okay, but I think there are better options for centers still on the board, unless you're obviously punting field goal percentage and you're trying to get some threes here and just add some extra rebounds and some depth and a high free throw percentage. He does get a significant bump. Look, I'm a big Shaden Sharp guy. Big Shaden Sharp guy. Love that there. Paul George, I'm okay with that as a luxury stash. I think he still has value when he's healthy and plays, and he will probably exceed this ADP. Very good with Norm Powell here. Good with Collins. Good with McCollum here. Good with Wiggins, but I've seen him drop. He gets a big bump there. I think the absolute steals of this round in the 8th are Mattis Buzelis and Donovan Clingan. I expect big things from both of these guys this season. Clingan is being a passer and a distributor. He is shooting a 3 all of a sudden, and KPJ as well. Cam Johnson, Kelly Ware, fine with these dudes here. Matherin, I'm okay with. Claxton, I'm dropping down. Devin Vassell at 120 in ESPN, I am eating that up all day long. Draymond Green, I am fine in this zone with Jaden McDaniels. I think we see a return on. Timoni Kamara is huge. I think he is going to be absolutely massive for these. And if I'm getting him now just outside the hundreds, I am reaping the rewards. This also goes for me with Tobias Harris. I think these guys here, in this next round here, let's just have a quick look at this, because now we're in the hundreds. We're talking about this. Malik Monk, Jalen Suggs, Stephen Castle, I'll pass on. D'Angelo Russell hasn't shown me enough to warrant me. I'm more interested now in the Bradley Beals and Keegan Murrays of the world. But gee, Keegan Murray, he's injured. Yeah, well, you take him, and then you stash him, and then you reactivate him. Again, how many do you have? How many IL spots do you have? If you have 3, you can draft 2 and keep one active for an injury in season. I say 2 because if your injury is generally between like 10 to 18 games, you can get away with 3 weeks with just rostering someone in or out or trying to package for a trade the closer they come if you're getting angsty and a bit anxious about it. So that's where I'm looking at it and being like, oh, I'm okay there. Keegan Murray will be a top 100 player. The fact that he is now dropping into the 110s, I think he's a top 90 player, top 80 player potentially this year, because they need him to space the floor outside Zach LaVine in Sacramento, especially with the addition of Russell Westbrook, especially with Rusty's, with the Brody's addition. So for me, I like that a lot. Murray, Aldama is fine. Gordon is fine. I love Eason. The Ivy injury dings his value. The Drew Holiday, he has crept up on our boards a little bit, but today's example in the preseason game for Portland is why we can be higher on Drew Holiday. And here I'm really comfortable taking him in the 100 zone just because he's going to be about value, but I need that value. To get a decent, good point guard around that place is exactly what I want to be doing. Reed Shepherd is good here. We showed out today in the preseason, but again, it was the bench mob. Let's not read into it here. Keontae George, not so hype, but it's now getting hard to take point guards. If you need one, you can take him right here at the back end of this is now the 10th round. Derek Lively, love this. Top 100 player, 135 on ESPN, 126 on Fantrax. I'm here for it. I'm eating it up all day long. One of my favorite picks has been Edie. I think this is good. I think because he hasn't played and the injury concerns, I think we're getting value here. Dante DiVincenzo, everyone knows I love him, as well as they know that I'm a big fan of Herb Jones. The Ace Bailey injury now in the 11th round is fine. Again, how many IL spots do we have? We get there, we take them. TJ McConnell injured, he slipped down. I'm really curious about Jabari Smith Jr. I think he can play a really good role and be a potential 6th man of the year candidate if Houston has an absolute bumper of the season. I'm fine with that one. I'm really okay with Colin Sexton here. I'm fine with Daniel Gafford here. I think we can go and undraft guys like Klay Thompson. Forget about Javonte Green. That's just someone being high. Jonathan Kuminga, I'm okay with. I'm more curious now here as we get into the 12th round. The 12th round, I really like some absolute must-draft guys. For me, it's Filipowski, it's Kason Wallace, it's DeAndre Hunter. I love these guys late. I think Ricochet has a bump again this year as well, and I'm really okay with that. I am passing hard on Kyle Kuzma. I am passing on Bub, and I'm definitely passing in Eve Messi, although I saw him play really, really well down in Melbourne at the NBA NBL tournament. We've also got Carlo there, and we've also got Derek Queen. So we've got a logjam. And we know what that means. At a point, something's got to give, and someone becomes less valuable than the rest of them to become more valuable, and someone is just there if someone gets hurt. So let's just judge it how it is. Cam Whitmore is one of my favorite picks deep this day. Now, we are in the 13th round of drafts. We're down now in the 13th. Cam Whitmore, I'm okay with. Edgecombe, I like. Collier, I'm okay with. Love Scotty Pippen here. I'm okay with Dylan Harper. I think he is a better player than Stephen Castle, and I think he gets the minutes. I'm okay with the upside here of Con Knipple, and I'm okay with Isaiah Jackson. I really like the Cater pick. We like to call him the Big Quesadilla. Absolutely love this guy. And shout out to D-Mac. I know that he is an absolutely big fan of the Big Quesadilla. And I think he is a really good steal at this point in time. Koulibaly is also going undrafted in some. As you can see, if we're 12 by 12 man drafts and 12-player rosters, we're looking at 144 people. And you can see that people are either leaving him off there entirely or they're drafting him with the last pick. You could probably round out and pick him up. Jay Huff is still worth a look. I do like the looks later on in drafts. Some of my breakout or some of my outperforming their ADP guys include Ty Jerome, Ayo Dosumu. Here, the Mitch Robinson pick is absolutely incredible. It is an incredible pick to be able to get Mitch Robinson in your team around here. I have him a lot higher. I have him like 30 spots plus ahead of his best rank here. The fact that on Fantrax he's 167 and going undrafted or in really deep leagues means it's a smash back at the 130s. It means it's a smash maybe around 120 to lock down the value. But yeah, okay, he gets injured, but we don't know if he's going to be. We can't always judge off the pass. He looks really good in the preseason. Like he looks great in the preseason. He looks healthy. He looks mobile. And if it goes sideways, yep, that's a darn shame. Scoop in, pick up someone else. It's probably going to be Yabusele you pick up because Yabu is going to be that Yabu Dabadoo is going to be getting the minutes, and we can pick up Yabu Dabadoo. Just like we can pick up Wendell Carter Jr. here. And we know we can pick up Lopez because he's looked good as a backup role instead of having to be the main center in Milwaukee. He looks good in Clippers in his minutes that he's played so far. But we know if Zubac goes down, they're going to have to lean on him and he's going to be ready. So we bring him into our side. I like the Bona pick here, and I like Diabate. Now, the reason that I like Diabate here is because for the last two games, they have started Kalkbrenner. I like Kalkbrenner. I think that Diabate could still start. I think they wanted to see it. But then Diabate is just eating second units alive. He looks really engaged to take on the challenge of like, do not take my money, do not take my minutes. And I love that a lot. And now we get into the really murky, like 15th round late. I like guys like Tyler Hendricks. I love Al Horford and Jovic getting some starting minutes. I'm a big fan of Sam Hauser. I think he adds points and threes and a little bit of rebounding and good percentages across the way right here. Whereas guys like Keon Ellis are killed. Chris Middleton, I think, is value, and I think he has slipped so far off our radars right now that if we're taking him instead of a late round flyer, we just bring him into our squads and see what he can do. I'm liking guys like Dylan Brooks, especially right now with the injury to Jalen Green. I think Brooksy has been playing really well in Phoenix to start the preseason. And I'm also liking Grayson Allen, who's down on this list a little bit further as well. Guys like Senzabar, Gary Trent Jr. in the 140s and Fantrax in the 200s, I'm a fan of in deeper leagues. You can see that Russell Westbrook is starting to get a little bit of love. And as the last pick, I'm okay with that. I'm keeping my eyes on Malik Beasley. He is a free agent, but the second that he gets signed, and I have a feeling that with all the talk of the shooting needed in the Lakers, I can see a reunion with him in LA. We know he's got family there. I'm not saying it, but I'm kind of saying it. I would not be surprised to see him find his way back into a Lakers jersey. And again, deep round flyers later in the drafts, guys like Grayson Allen, Moses Moody, who's injured, I know, but I'm completely fine with. Jared Butler's put a bit of shine in his name as a bit of a deep league flyer. But I am keeping my eyes on guys like Michaela Alexander Walker, late, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, I like very, very late as well. And to some extent, because I don't like what's happening in Brooklyn, I'm keeping my eyes on guys like Daron Sharp and Noah Clowney to get minutes. You can see Daron Sharp up here, either at 140 on ESPN or 240 on Fantrax. You've got an absolute crack at getting the bloke. Big last round, guys. You can get some action from Zion Williams if you really need to. Josh Minot isn't even making the list. I like him late. Ryan Rollins in Milwaukee, I'm a fan of, and even Jake LaRavia to some extent, and Rui Hachimura in deeper leagues. Getting absolutely no love right now, but who was worth this pick. I want to just talk about this one. There is a logjam for centers in Portland. We've got Yang Hansen, we've got Donovan Clingan, but we still have Robert Williams. Time Lord is still here. I am really, really curious to see what they do with Time Lord. Now, if there is any way, shape, or form a trade happens, we are swooping in straight away and picking up Robert Williams. He is a top 100 player, and he may not even play right now. The second that he does, we pick him up because he is most likely on your waiver wire. Guys, that is it. That is blow by blow, round by round. Like that is almost 200 players deep in your leagues. When I go through these names, I think yes, I think no. This is like a Sunday school lesson for you. And I come back like I was raised in like Sunday school, and my mom and dad dropped me off there on Sunday morning. My mom and dad would drop me at church on Sunday morning as a kid. And they'd come back like 2.5 hours later, pick me up. Like, how was church? I'm like, no, were you guys not in the big room? They're like, no, we just dropped you. I'm like, oh, okay, good. I was told there was 3 answers from prayer. There's like, yes. If you ask God for something, it's a yes, it's a no, or you're not ready yet. Well, it's either yes or no in fantasy basketball, or not yet. It could come down the line. Do you draft this guy? Yes. Do you draft this guy? No. Or not yet, and keep your eye on. Take the same lesson in fantasy. That's my blow by blow, 200 deep, round by round on current ADP data, highlighting some of the big examples we can pull out from Yahoo and ESPN and Fantrax. I am Matty G. You can find me at NBA G Wiz. You can find all of our stuff right here. There I am on your screen. Here I am in your ear, wherever you get your podcast from. I will see you soon. The NBA season is days away. You take care. You be well. You draft well. And let's get it done. And let's get them dubs.